All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a guest. If you can see, it is Pedro from the Brothers Binge podcast.
Woo!
I've had Alex and Pedro on a couple times already, but never singularly. I thought I'd bring them back one-on-one. I'm going to have Alex on whenever he's on. I'm recording tomorrow, but it could be released in a couple of weeks later that I release Pedro's one. But we're doing movie talks. And if you remember, that is a segment I started almost a year ago that I said I'd be running more often. I forgot, my bad. But basically what we're going to be doing is going over Pedro's top 10 movies. Some of his favorite movies, whether it's his list going to change forever. I think everyone's list changed forever. But right now, what he can put to pen to paper is what we're going to be talking about. We're just going to be discussing them. That's what Movie Talks is all about. So Pedro, if you will, kick us off with any movie you're choosing.
Well, before I do that, I just want to put a little disclaimer out there because, like you said, you're going to have my brother on for another segment, and I know that he's going to talk mad shit about my list because he always just makes fun of me all the time. So I'm going to preface this by saying these are my favorite movies that if I was in quarantine like I am right now and watching a movie, this is what I would watch, which is a perfect timing for this video because everybody's in quarantine. Everybody's just chilling at home watching movies and stuff. So kudos to you.
I would like to add that Alex has put in his bids on what he's predicted your list. So I'll let you know at the end if his predictions are right. But if you message video, I bet you this is Pedro's list. We'll see if it's right at the end. So let's kick it off.
Such a dick. Okay. All right. So the first movie that I'm going to do, in no particular order, I'm going to go with Rush Hour. Rush Hour, classic comedy movie, buddy cop movie, which Alex will tell you is one of my favorite types of movies. Can't go wrong with a Jackie Chan movie, throwing Chris Tucker, and just wonderfulness just ensues. So that's the number one on my list. No, well, not number one. Let's.
That's
no
on your
particular.
list. Yeah. That was one predicted by Alex. I'll give him props. He called that one. I think anyone that listens to Brothers Binge probably predicted that anyway. It's not a huge crazy call. I actually watched Rush Hour last night because I wanted to feel up to date with it because I knew it was going to be on your list. When I said anyone that's listening or watching, he didn't let me know on anything on the list. I said, don't tell me anything. We're going to talk about the spot. And I was like, I'll watch Rush Hour because I know it's going to be on his list. So I watched it last night. It's fun. It's I think Jackie Chan's maybe one of the most likable people ever.
Yes.
He was hilarious. I think Chris Tucker killed it. It's very funny. There's actually really good action scenes in this movie, which, I mean, obviously it's expected with Jackie Chan, but not so expected with buddy cop movies all the time. But I think they killed it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of those movies that you could actually just, if it's ever on TV, I'll sit down and I'll watch it no matter what point of the movie it's on. I'll sit there and I could just watch it. It's just one of those, not even like a feel-good movie. It's just like one of those movies that just bring me back to when I was a kid when I first watched it. And it has so many quotable lines that it's just, it has to be up there for me. So yeah.
I watched it last night, and I haven't seen, again, this is, I think, 1998, so the year I was born this one came out, and I've never been, not against Rush Hour, but I've just never been, really, oh, I gotta watch this, I've just seen scenes now and again. And there was one line that he said, and I knew it was coming, because he said, Chris Tucker walks into, a big bar or whatever, and he says, just do what I do. And he walks up, and Chris Tucker goes around to everyone and says, what's up? N-word.
Yeah.
And then I was like, they wouldn't do that, would they? And then I'm just watching Chris Tucker does it again, and then he does it again, and then he leaves Jackie Chan alone for a few seconds, and Jackie Chan says it, and I was like, yep, I can't help but laugh, but yep, that's
it was good. And what's funny about that, or not funny, I mean, what I love about that scene the most is that fight scene with the pool sticks. It's just, and that's the thing about Jackie Chan, he is so clever with the visuals, because of the way that he choreographs these fights. It's just genius because he does things that you wouldn't expect to see a normal human or a normal actor do on a set. And I think that's just one of the reasons why I love Jackie Chan movies. You know what I mean? Just for that reason alone.
Yeah, he definitely cried. I think he's definitely the highlight. I like Chris Tucker, but I think Jackie Chan definitely made that movie.
For sure.
All right, if you want to keep going.
Yeah, so the next one on my list is going to be obviously Endgame. Avengers Endgame. That's up there for me because one of the main reasons why I put this on my list is because this is a movie that every Marvel fan has been waiting for 10 years. They've watched Marvel movies for 10 years for this movie, and I feel like it delivered, and it gave everybody a satisfying taste in their mouth. And yeah, no, and I know you're a fan of Endgame, right? Because if not, then I'm gonna hop off this video right now.
No,
So
it was fantastic. I think the biggest thing that made that movie for me, because obviously, to me, and I still say this, in my opinion, I like Infinity War more. Not to say that Endgame is bad or any worse.
Right.
They're just, it's 1A and 1B. But I think Endgame, the thing that really be like, all right, this is a really damn good movie, is the emotional factor. Like the way it hits. We can spoil it at this stage. If you guys haven't seen Endgame now, you're not seeing Endgame or you don't care.
Exactly.
When Iron Man dies, that shit is emotional. His funeral, that shit's emotional. Cap going back, like there's just stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff that like put you in tears. And like that's what almost like a lot of not necessarily MCU movies are missing, but just don't have. And I was like, that's the next level that they need to get to, and they did.
And I wanted to put Infinity War on my list, but I mean, I had other movies that I want to put on there. So like, I'm not saying that Infinity War was bad, but I will say that out of the last decade, the ending of Infinity War where everybody starts getting dusted, I never walked out of a movie theater with just a look of just what the fuck just happened. It was so well done, and I give them props for that.
I remember that so, like, I can picture myself in the seat, because basically when we started doing it with Star Wars movies, where we went to midnight releases on every Star Wars movie, but then we're like, all right, it's Endgame, it's Infinity War, like these are the climax of this. We'll go to a midnight screening, and we were there. And I remember the first thing before they released Infinity War, the first thing they did was change Infinity War Part 2 to not Infinity War Part 2. They said like they gave us that hint that like these are going to be separate movies. So everyone's like, all right, cool. Yeah. This is huge. Like this is Thanos. This is what we're waiting for. And I remember when that movie ends, and I remember just seeing the director by the Russo brothers came up and were like, that's the end, and the whole cinema just went, fuck. And we knew we had to be back here in another year and wait to see what happened. And it's such a ballsy move, and I loved it.
I loved it. And the thing is like, I've never gone to a movie where when we left, like nobody knew what to say. Everybody was just like in awe, and it was kind of like a weird feeling, like seeing the heroes that you watch die, essentially. Like it was like a weird feeling. Nobody knew how to feel, and they walked out completely silent. It was crazy. But to move on, the next one on my list is Castaway.
Okay.
Tom Hanks has to be one of my favorite actors. He can do no wrong to me, or for me. You know what I mean.
We'll get it.
Yeah. But Castaway, I think, was just such a great movie because this man carried an entire movie by himself, and you still felt emotion and everything with little to no dialogue in the movie. And I feel like it's just so well done. The cinematography was great, the story was fantastic, and it just brought you to almost like what would happen if I was on a desert island by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those things.
I mean, yeah, just that movie itself, him on the island, has become like so iconic with Wilson, and like just his performance in that movie. I don't like, personally, it's not going to be on my list, nothing against that movie, but I think it's definitely iconic. Though, like some of the things you see from that movie, I think will stand the test of time. And Tom Hanks is like, he's fantastic in pretty much everything he does. So yeah, definitely worthy. I'll give you that one.
All right, so the next one, and I know I'm going to say a big F you to Alex, is going to be Bad Boys 2. I don't care what you say, Alex. This movie is the shit.
That was another
you've
one
seen
predicted.
It, right?
Yeah,
you've seen it, right?
I've said it.
Okay, so this movie, I'm a huge Will Smith fan, huge Martin Lawrence fan, and this movie, like, the first Bad Boys was okay. It was a good movie, but something about the second movie where it had great action scenes and it was funny, and it had everything you wanted in a movie: action, drama, comedy, and they married it so well that's why this is on my list, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely great. I think that trilogy And it's weird to say because three is such a recent thing, and it actually delivered. I think that's
Sure.
I was the biggest skeptic of that movie, and Bad Boys 3 coming out, and I was like, they're too late. There's no point. Bad Boys 1 and 2 were good enough. Just keep them at that. But they delivered on 3, but 2 was fantastic. I think it's the same thing with every one of those movies. I think Will Smith and Martin Lawrence just have phenomenal chemistry, and you can put them together in a movie, and you're fine. Like, I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to those movies. Just put them together, let them do their stuff, let them do their thing, and they kill it. I think Will Smith, although he's done his fair share of stinking movies, he's always a bright spark in whatever he's in.
Right. So let me ask you this: if they, which I think they're already planning on, are you or will you be excited for Bad Boys 4?
I don't know. It's just, I think age becomes a factor, and I know we can say the same thing with 3, and that's my thing. I was like, they're getting to a point where they're just gonna, like, it's gonna be too old and awkward, and I think we saw that with Martin Lawrence in 3, and
for sure.
Even through 3, but they handled it so well, which you didn't really have to notice. Like, they took him out, but I think it depends what they do. Like, the way they ended 3 was kind of like, without getting into a spoiler, it was kind of a hint like what we're going to do for 4. So maybe if they take that way, I think you got to keep the chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, because as I said before, that's what makes these movies. But I'm definitely not going to be as negative as 3, because honestly, it depends how long they take to pull it out. If it's in maybe 10 years, then I will. But if they can bring it out in the next 2 or 3 years, then I'll probably be like, I'll give it a chance.
Definitely. So, moving on to my next one, the best animated film in the last decade, Coco. Yep. I know Alex put that on the list. Is that predicted as well?
No, it wasn't. But I when you said the best animated, again, listening to your podcast, I knew that was going to be what it was for you, and I'll let you kick it off with your thoughts.
So Coco for me, it's a great movie. They have great music on the in the movie, but it's also, for me personally, it's literally the first movie me and my son watched, like, when we just sat down and when he was able to actually, like, know what a movie was, or like kind of like sit there. So that always holds a personal connection to me. And then also, you know, being Hispanic, seeing, you know, us being represented in a Disney movie is fantastic. But hands down, the visuals, the music, the story itself, Coco's up there on my list.
I would like to share that Coco, because for some reason that's one of my highest viewed movie reviews. Don't know why. I didn't release it early. Nothing different about my reviews, but everyone I got behind that one, so thank you guys.
Yeah.
But if I can get your permission right now, Pedro, can I please insert the clip of you and Alex singing "Remember Me" on your podcast and play it right now?
You have my permission.
All right, I'm playing it now.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart.
All right, we're done. That's what I was talking about. You guys talked about this not long ago on your podcast, and your son. I think it's fantastic. I was not skeptical, because I feel like Disney Pixar, they never do anything wrong, but it wasn't one that I was like, all right, I'm like running into the theaters to see. But then I came out and I was like, yo, that was really, really damn good. Like, that was really, really well made. And I think it's going to set up.
I was in the same boat as with you, because of the fact that I never watched it when it was in theaters. Like, I saw it right when it came out on DVD or digital download, and that's when I saw it. And because at first I was like, oh, I mean, it's going to be a good movie, but I'll just watch it when I get home. And I was very surprised how well it was made. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I just didn't expect it to be like. It was just such a well-rounded story. It did everything I didn't expect it to do. Not that I thought it was never going to be a bad movie, but I thought it was just going to be one of the. Because Disney and Pixar do have those ones. They're good, but they're just not they're not on the rest of the level. And I thought it was going to be one of those. But I thought they absolutely crushed it. I think the songs are really damn good as well, and I think it's really damn good.
Yeah, so let's hear a little "Remember Me." Let's see what you got.
No, I'll just play the clip again, or you guys sing it.
All right, so next on my list is Back to the Future. Classic movie. Always been a huge fan of this. It's always been a toss-up for me between Back to the Future 1 and 2, because I love them for obviously different reasons. Because, you know, the first movie, he obviously goes back into the past, and then in the second movie, he goes to the future, which was awesome to see, because everybody based their thoughts on what the future is going to be like off of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was what? The movie, they went to the future, 2015?
2015.
And there's yet to be any flying cars, hoverboards. I was a kid, and I was so excited. I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to ride my damn hoverboard to work or whatever. And it never happened. So, I mean, but it's up there for me.
They're fantastic movies, and I'm very glad that I did not see them until I was, whatever, like in mid-2000s, whatever age I was, like, 8, 10, 12, whenever I saw them, because if I saw them in 1980s and that was my prediction, I'd be so disappointed, because 2015 came nothing like what they predicted.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think to me, and it's not a shot on Back to the Future, I think they got, I don't want to say worse, because that sounds like I'm dissing them, but I feel like the best one was the first one for me, then it goes to 2, then to 3. Is that your order?
Yeah. I don't it's not that I don't acknowledge the third movie, but I don't fucks with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel that, yeah.
But the first and second one has always been a toss-up for me. Like, they're kind of like tied for me as like which one is my favorite, because I love them for different reasons, and they're both equally like fantastic to me.
That's the same thing for me and Scream with the first two. Whenever someone asks me like, "Oh, what's it?" I'm like Scream, and I just kind of bundle the first and second together, and I don't talk about the third because that was trash. But I was just like, they're so close to each other. I don't want to like take one. And same with Infinity War and Endgame. I just don't want to take one anymore. So you just like clump them together.
Right. So what are your thoughts on the Scream TV show that they did on MTV?
I liked the first season of that show a lot, actually. I was surprised because, one, they did the fourth movie, and I was like, all right. And then it was actually good. It was fine. And then they did the TV show, and the first season I thought was really good. The second season wasn't quite as good, but it was fine. It was decent. I didn't see the third season because they decided to, I think, and I never saw the third season. Correct me if anyone's seen the third season, but they just like got rid of all the cast from the first two, and they're like, we're doing a third season. And I was like, okay, I don't care now. Like, you've played yourself.
I watched I watched the first two seasons, and the first season was okay to me, but there was just something about it that I just thought was too. It was too campy, I guess. I couldn't really get into it because like I knew what my vision of Scream is with like you. The first and second movie, fantastic. But something about the TV show just kind of ruined it for me and ruined the taste for me. So I couldn't watch it. And then apparently they're bringing it back. Is that what?
Yeah, I don't like. At this point, I'm just kind of letting Scream do its thing, and then I'll figure out what's happening when it comes out, because I think they're all over the place. But I can definitely see with the first and second season. I think the second season, I think I saw what people were talking about with that campiness and the silliness, but I still really enjoyed the first season nonetheless.
For sure. So the next on my list is going to be Parasite. Movie was so well written, and the metaphors and the way that the visuals kind of like gave you it was like you were watching like hidden clues within the movie. I thought that they did that so well, and then like at first I didn't want to watch it. I wasn't like a big fan. Not that I say that I'm not a big fan of like foreign films or anything, but it doesn't really draw me until Alex actually convinced me to watch it, and I'm so happy that he did. While watching it, like I didn't realize I was watching a movie with subtitles until like after like 15 minutes in, and I was like just watching it, and it was just so well made, and like the way that they, for example, can I ruin it? Can I give spoilers?
I'll tell you something right now. You're gonna be fired up. I have not seen it, and I'll tell you why. The disrespect on the Australian cinemas to get this movie to us is awful. They didn't put it out when it was going crazy, and everyone's like, all right, this is... People were talking about it like it wasn't a foreign film, which doesn't happen. But people are like, yo, this is the film. And I was like, yes, I want to see it. And then I went to try to see it. Wasn't out anywhere. I was like, all right, no worries, cool. Then it won Best Picture. And then all the Australian theatres were like, all right, we'll start getting it out now. And they just put it out when I went to Thailand, and I couldn't see it.
Oh, no.
But by that stage, it's already been out on Blu-ray. I haven't picked it up yet. I have to wait, and I'm going to get it as soon as I can. Yes. But I did try illegally downloading it. We don't speak about it. I couldn't find an English subtitle version. So I've tried my hardest to watch this film.
So
and I'm
haven't. Not gonna, because I don't want to ruin it because of the fact that there's It's just so well made. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's so well made. The story is fantastic, and I I can't say anything without ruining it. So I'll just leave it at that. It's a movie that's up there. Ace, you definitely need to watch it.
It's probably the most frustrating movie of all time for me because I'm just like, I'm trying my hardest to see this film and everything is against me. So hopefully I can get somehow. I'm waiting again. It's at full price, and I don't want to pay $30 to go and get a Blu-ray at the point. So I'll wait. I'm waiting for at the moment because everything is in kind of stranded moment, and they're like, all right, buy 2 get 1 free on every single Blu-ray, and I was like, that's awesome. They never do that. I can get new releases, but I'm still gonna wait for them to drop maybe a 20% off or whatever, and then I can get 3 new releases for $45-$50. Then I'm happy with that, whatever. Sure. But that's tippity top of my list. I've been waiting so long to see this movie, and it's after I saw it won Best Picture, I was like, all right, that's it. If to get recognition on a foreign film that much is so it's got to be phenomenal.
It's so well worth it. It's just it's just good. It's good. It's good. It's up there for me for sure. All right, so we'll move on so I don't ruin it for Ace. I'm not a huge not saying I'm not a huge Matthew McConaughey. How do you feel about Matthew McConaughey? What are your thoughts?
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's good. He's done great movies, but the one that's on my list that I really like is Interstellar. I'm saying it's not. Interstellar was so the thought process between the journey that he takes, the little journey that he takes between let's say that planet that he goes on that every minute is a year. I forget what the ratio was, but the thought process between the story and how everything comes full circle, I thought it was phenomenal. The visuals are great. And tell me you've seen this movie.
Luckily, I actually watched this movie about 4 days ago. Completely coincidental.
Oh, really?
I've said this to you off air, but I'm making my best of the movies of the decade list, and that was one that I hadn't seen, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait. I'm trying to watch these films before I make my list, and I just watched it, and it's phenomenal. I think the only thing you can diss about this movie is a lot of scientists, math pros or whatever, getting really behind all that stuff. But the biggest thing for this, it's sci-fi. It's science fiction. Everything makes sense, the math and the science behind it in their world. If necessarily that world doesn't command our world, that's what sci-fi is. It all makes sense within what they're trying to do. And I think that movie, there's just something about it it's just weirdly perfect. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it's just they crush everything. There's nothing I can say wrong about that film. That's what's weird about it.
And how they come full circle from the very beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, it comes full circle. For those who haven't watched it, I don't want to ruin anything. Watch it. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's just so well done. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's so well done. And Matthew McConaughey knocks it out of the park. He really does.
Okay, I'll give you one thing wrong with the movie, and it's not even something wrong with the movie. It's that I didn't get enough time with his young daughter and Matthew McConaughey. That relationship, I don't know why. I was just watching, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I don't know. I love that. That's the only disc that I only got maybe 30 minutes of that. If I can get a whole movie of that, I would have loved it. I think she crushed it. I think it's Mackenzie Foy, I want to say. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But then that relationship was just that for some reason just got me. I was like, that's really damn good. And then obviously you get the older version of Jessica Chastain and stuff like that, but I would have liked more of that, but that's not even a diss. That's just because that was just ridiculously good for a short time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I 1000% agree on that. So yeah, Interstellar on that one. So I'm down to my last two. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Joker in there. Joker in there as one of my favorite movies. There's not really much to say except for it's a DC movie. It's their take on Joker was phenomenal, and the journey that he takes from the very beginning to the pinnacle of, when he becomes the Joker, fantastic. Because I think that it was a movie that... Oh, my mic's going off. It was a movie that... The entire movie, you're like, when is the moment that he turns? When's the moment that he turns? So you're on the edge of your seat the entire movie, and then you get to that point, and it's just so satisfying to see, because you've been waiting for the entire movie for this to happen. So, yeah, no, Joker's definitely there for me.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was just flat out amazing. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was phenomenal. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm just like, if you take anything, just take that away.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what, like, even if you have nothing else in the movie, just him, no story, just let him act. It's still a phenomenal movie. Like, it's awesome. And then some of the stuff they did with the way, I won't try to spoil it because I know it's only been a few months. I'm not going to try to give it away, even though I probably should have seen it. But anyway, like, some of the way, like, when they look back and you can see what's really happening, what's kind of messed up in his head. Yeah. It's fantastic. Just like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So let me ask you. So you've seen Split, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen what's the movie before that was supposed to be connected?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, right? Have you seen Unbreakable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I asked this question to Alex on one of the podcasts, so I want to bring it to you. So if they were to release a movie about release the Joker movie, but it wasn't called Joker. Let's say it was just called Arthur, right? And you didn't realize that he was becoming the Joker until the very end. Like, let's say that was the twist at the end. Do you think this movie would have done as well?
I reckon, like, I don't think it would have, because I think partially is the name. Like, with any movie, I think the name is such a big thing, and we see it, and they can say it's not a reason, but you can see that one with Birds of Prey. I think if that movie was called Harley Quinn, more people would have saw it, because I think people that aren't kind of into it have got to have that blind check of, like, what's this movie called? Oh, it's Joker. I know what Joker is. I'll have a look into it. Oh, this movie called Harley Quinn. I know what Harley Quinn is. But if you have a movie called Birds of Prey, it could be anything. You get a movie called Arthur, it could have been anything. Saying that, I think the internet would have probably exploded after a couple of days, and they're like, holy shit, this movie is a Joker movie, and then everyone would have flocked in to see it. But I think you lose a little bit of that. Not too much, but you lose a little bit of the box office just based on name.
I 100% agree with that. That's a good thought on that. So, like, this last one, my last movie, I'm gonna say, you guys might judge me on this, but Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect is up there. Yeah, Pitch Perfect is up there for me on one of my favorite movies, and here's why. When the movie originally came out, at first, me, Joe, my wife Joe, and Alex, we went to the movie theaters to watch a movie. The movie that we originally wanted to watch, I guess it was sold out, so we were just like, oh, well, let's check out what this Pitch Perfect movie is about. I haven't seen anything, any trailers, I haven't seen anything. We sat in the movie theater, and we were just joking like, oh, this might be dumb or whatever. I left that movie singing to the top of my lungs. I thought the music in this movie was so phenomenal, and so, like, the choices that they made to put into this movie, the comedy, the comedic timing, everything was just perfect.
Pitch Perfect. No, look, you are talking to the right guy about this film. I think this is one of my favorite movies. If I was doing top 10, whether it'd be a definite top 10, I'd have to give this movie props, because it's definitely, like, it's one of my favorites. And there's multiple reasons that I have big stories behind this. One, I mean, it introduced my love of Britney Snow, and she's my all-time number one. And that was the first movie I saw her in. But the story, I remember this movie came out, right? And it was a girly flick. People were laughing at it. One of my friends went and saw it with his girlfriend. And he came to one of, I think it was one of my friend's, like, 15th birthdays. And he came and he's like, yo, guys, I saw Pitch Perfect. We roasted the ever-loving shit out of him. I remember we absolutely smoked him. We're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, and we were like, what? Like, of course, smoking him. And then no one saw it. We just laughed at it and we went on with our lives. No, he didn't convince anyone to go and see it. Like, he's like, I think he kind of was like, I'm sorry. Like, and I remember I'm trying to think of the year. It was 2012. Okay, so it would have been the next year when it came out on Blu-ray or DVD, and it was my sister's 12th birthday, and we came in and she was with her friends and she was watching a movie, and we did the cake and whatever, and that movie was Pitch Perfect, and I was like, this is kind of fire, and I kind of sat there and I watched it for like
just all quiet.
5-10 minutes till the point where everyone's like, cake's done, and my sister was kind of like, get the hell out, like, what are you doing here? And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab that DVD when you guys are done. And I remember sneaking back in and just watching it, and then going and watching it, and it's phenomenal. It's probably, I'd say, top 5 movies I've watched the most. I just think that movie's perfection. I'm a big fan of it's not a musical, but it is a music-based movie. So I'm a big fan of that, and I think the songs get stuck in your head. I think Anna Kendrick kills it. Brittany Stowe kills it. It's got a cast behind it. It's phenomenal. It's I could literally talk about this all day.
Yeah, no, I could watch that movie over and over again, and like I can quote the lines, I can quote everything. The music is just, I think that's the thing that makes this movie is the music choices they put in here. I don't know how you feel about the other movies, but they don't compare to the first one for me. I feel like because they made what, 2 or 3?
Yeah, there's 3 now.
There's 3 now. I can't get with the other movies because I'm not a big fan of the music choice. I think that they just knocked it out of the park, and it's like it's a perfect storm whenever they made this movie. It's just perfect.
I have more pitch perfect stories because I've got days of pitch perfect
Do
stories.
it.
But
I'm ready.
I think one I go to bat for. Like I will literally be like, yo, this is a good movie. Like this isn't guilty pleasure. One is a legitimately good movie. It's got the right story. It's got an emotional kick at the end or whatever. It's great. The second movie is actually, if I had to rank, I'd probably say it's my top 5 best cinema experiences. Not really that I watched, not the movies, but top 5 cinema experiences. I remember that, and it was the first Britney Snow movie that I'd seen in cinemas. So I was very, very excited. And it was one of the ones, and you get them every now and again. It's very hard to get, and you can't control how you get them or whatever happens. And you just sit in that chair, and time and everything around just goes away. Like you don't even notice you're in the world. And that was me for Pitch Perfect 2. And I loved it. And then watching it afterwards, I'm like, it's still good to me, but I can understand it's more on the guilty pleasure side. And then 3 came, and it was literally the opposite experience where we had a group of like 7 of us going, and they could only fit us in the second front row. So it sucked. The people in front of us were making noise, throwing their shit around. They were being the worst cinema people ever.
Ruins it.
And I was like, I didn't love this movie. I'm like, I don't know if it's the experience, like having to look up and these people in front of me. But then I watched it again, and I think it's good. I think it's very much just good. Like it's just enough to be good because I like the franchise. But I can understand if anyone doesn't like the franchise, that there's just no business liking 3, unfortunately. But 1, I would go to bat for all day.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, so that's my top 10. Let me make sure I got it all. Let me sure I'm not skipping one.
Maybe spit off the list just to give everyone a reminder of your top 10, or a 10 of your favorite movies.
All right, so I have Coco, Back to the Future, Bad Boys 2, Rush Hour, Endgame, Parasite, Castaway, Interstellar, Pitch Perfect, and Joker.
I like that list. I like that list a lot. And again, I've said this. I don't know if I said this on camera before. I think this is such a great way for people to get to know you as a guest to my channel, and people that haven't seen you, just by anyone, I think, and wherever they are. If you can just be like, if you're a movie lover and you go, give me 10 of your favorite movies, it just shows you where they're at. If they're like a broad audience and they're like you, it was genres everywhere. That's great. Or you have other people that might list off 10 action movies, or 10 dramas, whatever. Like you really get to know someone by their 10 movies, which I thought was really good. Alex did predict. He said Rush Hour, Bad Boys, and some MCU flicks. So he wasn't as right. I think he expected some more MCU flicks, but he did get the franchises right.
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit where credit's due.
The only one that I know is going to be on his is Artificial Intelligence. That one for sure is going to be on his list. Because have you seen Artificial Intelligence?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know what that movie was until you guys mentioned on the podcast, a year or whatever ago.
It very well could be on my top 10. It is a fantastic movie. It's so well done. It's a long movie, but it's so well. Before you record with Alex, go ahead, watch Artificial Intelligence. Yeah.
All right, I'll do my best. I literally hadn't even heard of this movie. I don't know if that was just, I don't know why, but I never heard of it until you guys mentioned it. So I might have to check it out. I'll see if it is on his list. I think, is that your one go-to bet? 100%?
That for sure. I know that's going to be on his list for sure.
All right, and I'll keep that in mind. I'll call him out on it and give you the point.
There you go.
Where can they find you guys? I know obviously the podcast, well, but where they can find you, everything you got.
Yeah, no, so right now we are on a small hiatus due to all the stuff that's going on right now. But you can find the show at Brothers Binge on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a catalog of 100 and something episodes. So if y'all just want to listen, go ahead and listen. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at _ my name is Pedro.
Yeah, guys, definitely go on that podcast, especially now. If you guys are just chilling at home,
For real.
whatever you got, like a lot of people are on quarantine or, not allowed to go outside. You've got more time than ever, so definitely go and listen to them. Even if, you might be like, oh, that movie's a bit dated. The games they do are definitely worth just listening to. There's some funny stuff that goes on. Your boy's been guest on there before, been a guest, good English, but that's worth enough. Thank you for coming on, Pedro. Make sure you do follow all his stuff there. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's getting very slow at the moment because I've got no movies to watch, but the Instagram is slightly still chugging along. It is at AceDavies. Make sure you just subscribe here. Thank you again. All that good shit. Have a good one.
Peace.